Is it going to be a problem? Is the fan going to be a problem, viewers? Because it's hot, and the problem is it sounds like a jumbo jet is next to you're gonna, but it's hot. Run the intro. Turn it off. Can't even have it on the lower levels. It's too loud. It's too loud. Hello viewers, it's warm. Sorry, I'm not warm. I'm just saying it's a hot day. This then is the team for the new season, but you want to know a little bit more about them, don't you? So let's talk through the transfer window that has happened. I'm sorry we didn't stream it. It's too hot to sit for 4 hours live. So it took me about 8 hours to do. So here we go. Let's talk through the ins and the outs. And let's start with the outs. So as you know, we were given a fair amount of money to spend, and we added to that really by letting a few players go. Some for free transfers, some for some, I'll say big money, but some big money in terms of Thames money. Look, it's an interesting season for me. In terms of released players, we'll start with them. We had to level up. We had to move players on, and that meant some heartbreak, viewers, and I'm not happy about it, right? John Solomon hasn't returned after last episode's sort of loving of John Solomon. It's not happening now. Wildig, Heath, Jakobsen, Fleet, Woodford. I mean, quite familiar names here. Ethan Reese, Zach Streamer, and Mate Below have all left us. They've all gone. And it's a big changing of the guard here at Thames when those players leave. To add to it then, Serpak left. Now that's probably going to surprise a few people. That was not a player that I intended to sell going into the window, but in terms of that left-sided player, we've changed our system slightly, and as a result, he's left us 2.6 million brought in, had an okay year, 6 assists, and we've sold him on for 5.25 to Celta Vigo. It seems pretty good to me. And Luigi, again, it feels a bit brutal, really, but the technical attributes aren't really good enough. The mental attributes are pretty good, but again, it's the technicals that I feel like let him down, and the 5'10" just puts me off him for some reason. Look, in terms of sales, this is pretty good, really. We got him on a free transfer from Juventus. We had him for a couple of seasons. He helped us get promoted. He helped us stay in the division, and now we moved on for £8 million. Again, I think that's pretty good, and to add that to the money that we ended up spending, it made a lot of sense to us. So there then is the list. You can see £50 million spent, especially when you add in the future transfer that hasn't happened quite yet, £4 million to Acacio. I think that's how you'd say it. We'll start with him then. He's 17 years of age, doesn't get it until he turns 18, from Brazil. And I think for a 17-year-old right back / where I think I'm going to play him centre back, this is the kind of guy that you're looking for. I think I'm going to play him as a centre-back and train him as a centre-back, but what a player to have in our arsenal. I think he's going to be a real good player once he joins. So, yeah, very excited to see how he does. I said doesn't join for a little while, but that was where some of the money went, and that makes it the £50 million then. So, where did the rest of the money go? Well, it's been a very, very, I'm going to call it stressful atmosphere in the transfer window. There's been quite a few players that I thought I was going to sign and then haven't signed because teams have gone, oh, you want him, do you? Well, no. So this is quite brutal when it happens to me, because I feel like I'm very, very close and it just falls apart. But let's start with the free transfer before we do the loans and then the players we've brought in for actual money. So Harold Strien, I think that's how you say it, 35-year-old, 119 caps for Germany. I think you know why we brought him in. For that experience, not necessarily in leadership, but definitely for that experience. Can play centre-back for us. Is definitely going to be sort of the fourth-choice defender here at Thames. But I think to have a fourth-choice defender that's got the decision-making and the concentration and the technical attributes that he's got is quite a good thing, really. He's been at Hamburg for a long time before moving to Barcelona, and more recently playing his trade for Aston Villa in the Premier League. So knows the league a little bit, speaks the language already, of course. Being German, they do anyway, because they're smart people, unlike us British who just guess words. So yeah, Barcelona, Aston Villa, Hamburg, and now AFC Thames for the final few years of his career. He's not going to get any better. 38k a week is quite a lot, but for a player on a one-year contract, I don't really mind it too much. Welcome to him then. Good to see you. So this is very much going to be the transfer episode, by the way. So we're going to go through all the players. As I said, there's quite a few that you've brought in as well. 12, I think, in total, and 13 if you had the other guy as well. And the window has just closed, so we have started the season, so we'll recap a bit of that too. Let's go from the bottom up then, and we'll start with the loans. Oscar Venturi comes in. This is always weird when you do that to the transfer window, because I've signed all these players, and I've never said their names before. So this is the first time I have to say it out loud, as is evidence from videos gone by. But Oscar Venturi then, firstly, fantastic name, on loan from Inter Milan to cut in from that right-hand side. And actually, what I'll quickly do is show you the tactic so you can understand where these players fit into all of that. But Oscar Venturi, right side, cutting in. If we play a winger, and the system has changed since the start of the season ever so slightly, and you'll find out when we go through the rest of the players, but we're kind of playing this, but also happy to play this, right? So we've got a couple of options for us. We've got a couple of ways we can maybe change it as well, which again, this looks like we've changed it a lot, but actually just bringing that player back and changing the way the triangle operates and things like that. So just to have an idea of how it all fits in, I wanted to be a little bit more flexible this season, so the signings have had to kind of measure up to that. As I say, loan signing costing me next to nothing really for the whole season. Hopefully he proves to be a decent member of the squad. I'm not expecting anything fantastic, but hopefully, as I say, a decent member of the squad. Juan Jose, now this is a great John Joseph, this is, in my opinion. Really happy with this one. Real Madrid, English, which is quite cool, really. So the work permit thing, not a problem. Such a midfielder, can play further, push forward, can play in the deep line playmaker role, but I think you'll agree with me, a real good quality addition. And you think about some of the players that will have left us, bringing in a player like this on loan from Madrid, 24k a week, like, I think this is really good. Madrid bought him for 40 million. They've barely done anything with him, and we're paying like next to nothing for him really throughout the course of the season. Again, I think it's obvious what I've bought him. Loads of really good attributes. Hopefully they work well in game and in this team, right? That's the plan. Iosu Palacios from Inter Milan, another Inter Milan player. A backup left back, of course, we let Serpak go. I wanted someone who was a little bit more defensive, and this is that guy, right? So we've got this guy now, and Magel. We've got two left backs sort of vying. Quite similar players as well. Probably slightly better here, Palacios, but again, it's pretty close. There's mental attributes definitely to be worked on. 21 years of age, they may well improve, of course, over the course of his career. Hasn't played for Inter yet, but we'll take him on loan, and yeah, started a game for me in the league, and we won it. So we'll take that. Hopefully it continues. Gonzalo Rosso, to continue the loan theme, a backup. Again, can play left back, can also play centre back, 6'1", really good physical attributes. Again, good marking, good tackling, could definitely play at centre back, as I say, or full back. It doesn't really matter. Those mental attributes, the anticipation, the bravery, the concentration, love all of those. Great work rate as well, and the aggression at 16 for a defender, I'm absolutely fine with too. Yeah, again, a really good addition, I think. £20,000. We've had to go back into the loan market. We talked about this. I didn't necessarily want to, but it's a case of like, well, there aren't loads of quality players that will sign for me permanently, so we will try and get as many as we can, and that brings us to Frank Bong. And I'm a Bong man. Let me tell you, viewers, Frank Bong, as we click his name, from PSG, 18 years of age, already got 22 caps for Cameroon. I am a big fan of Frank Bong, whether he plays or not at centre-back. That's not where I'm going to play him. As a defensive midfielder, as a ball-winning central midfielder, yeah, I'm a huge fan. Great aggression, great bravery, positioning, tackling, physically fantastic. And again, only 18 years of age. This man will be a star of world football, in my opinion, in a couple of years. And if we can have him here at Thames forever, then I'm cool with it. If we can do sort of the loan trick and have him for 3 years, then that's exciting. Frank Vaughn joins us then. Very excited to see how he does for us. Yeah, one of my favourite signings of the window. So those are the loan boys and the free transfer of Harold Stream as well. And then we move on to where the money has been spent. And one of these transfers is not good. I say not good. It's not perfect. We'll come to him last, I think, actually. First things first then, Kean Capes. Streamer left us, of course, backup goalkeeper. So from MK Dons, 235k for a 35-year-old Englishman that has been around a bit, it's fair to say. I've no intention of starting him, especially when you consider that he's been playing in the Championship for MK Dons. But I do think for those goalkeeping attributes, that's all I'm looking for, really. The physicals, not so good, but 14.5k for a backup keeper of decent standards. That's all you're really looking for. No dramas with this sort of man. And that's the cheapest then of the transfers. And I'm sure you're more excited by the ones that are above him. So let's waste no time. Melon from Flamengo. A couple of players being brought in from Flamengo. I rated them a little bit, and you can see why Melon has been brought in. 18 years of age, plays that as that attacking midfielder role. Of course, the role that we've talked about. Could even play centrally as well, if relied upon. But you can see immediately we are levelling up in terms of signings that we've made. Now, according to this value, we've We've maybe overpaid a little bit based on the fact that you'd think he'd be worth more, in my opinion. Great first touch, great long shots, physically phenomenal, right? Tries killer balls often, gets into opposition area. To me, a goal-scoring central midfielder or attacking midfielder. I am really excited to see just how good this guy is, right? We've not really seen too much of him in the game, so I don't know if he's going to be the man I expect him to be. But again, 18 years of age, contract-wise, 8.75k. It's a bit of a bargain. Does have a release fee of 33 million, so something to be aware of for clubs in continental competition. But the reality for me is that if he's playing well and we sell him on, well, we got him for 4 million, we'd sell him on for a big profit. I think Flamengo do quite well out of that too. I'm very happy. I think he's going to be a superstar. I'm excited by him specifically. Esma, We'll come to Esma in a moment. Let's go to Jakub Brzezinski. It's like what was he called? There was a right winger. Oh, I can't remember his name. He was Polish and played for Dortmund. Blazikowski. It's like him and Lewandowski have combined names, I feel like. 8.5 million then. Now, sort of 8.5 million. It's 8.5 million so far, and I feel like there are additional costs. In fact, no, it wasn't 8.5 million. This is a lie. It was 4 million and then 4.5 over 3 years, but it hasn't structured it like that, and I don't know why. I think you can see why we like him. He's like another Solomon in a way, really. Very pacey, great dribbling, first touch and finishing, superb composure, and is a goal scorer. That's the hope and dream for this man. So far, 1 goal, 1 assist in the league. I didn't actually start him at the beginning of the season. I thought, well, work him into the side, and it sort of came down to the system of I have to play him alongside Ermantraut, who has returned, one of our loanees, who is back again for another season. And I just think he's something quite special, so I want to get the most out of him. And you'll see why we've got the left winger, who's to come in a moment. But yeah, really, really good addition. 8.5 million as well for him, I think, is like an absolute steal. Again, £40 million release fee, bit of a sell-on fee percentage, 70 grand a week. Like, this man didn't really want to join, but we got him, and that's the key thing, right? We're starting to get these players that I think are a slightly higher level than we've ever had before. So Jakub, welcome to the team. And so far, viewers, I think you'll agree it's going quite well, but there's 3 players to go, the one we've missed and the 2 at the top. So Salantili or Tiel. I think it's probably Salatiel we'll go with. It's actually his first name as well. It's not like I can call him SMD or anything like that. It would have to go with Salatiel. I think it's said like that. If it's not Portuguese or Brazilian friends, I'm sorry. I don't know how to say it. Let's go to him then, and you can see, as I say with all these boys, you can see exactly why he's come in. This is the first time in the save I feel like I've signed a player that is going to be worth billions, and that's quite exciting. Minimum release fee, £82 million. Fine with it. 26.5k a week. I might just let you look at him for a second. Just drink it in. He is really good. Again, 18 years of age. We've gone to Brazil. We've made a signing. Maybe he's off the ball isn't quite what you'd want it to be, but with these 18-year-old Brazilians, him, and of course we've got Malon as well. I think we've got a couple of stars here, and I can't believe we got them. There was a lot of interest in both of them. I offered pretty reasonable contracts. I didn't go overboard with either of them, and for some reason they've chosen to move to us. And unfortunately for us as well, they're probably going to be good friends. And of course, when you look at the future transfer coming in as well, Flamengo, I just want to say thank you so much for existing, because we have gone over there and we've brought in 3 players that I hope now, I mean, we might have to call ourselves AFC Flamengo from now on, because, was it Flamengo? It might be Flamengo. Anyway, regardless, we've signed some quality players. Let's continue then on this road of transfers, as we've failed to mention so far, and the man who has been worth the most amount of money, 16.5 million up front, with a little bit to add on as well if all goes to plan, from Basel. We looked at a few Basel players, but this is the one we got. Armin Aganovic. No, Armin Aganovic. Armin Aganovic. 18-year-old Bosnian left winger. Hello there, my friend. I've raved about that Brazilian fella, but I think you'll agree this guy ain't too bad either. He's off the ball for me, has to improve, and maybe his finishing as well, but everything else, be his pace, his agility, his first touch, his technique, his determination, his bravery, his dribbling and crossing. He's only 18. Remember, he's only 18. You think about world footballers at 18, they're not quite the guys you expect them to be at some stage, but this, on 25 grand a week, might be the guy. I don't know. Again, we've got very little to go off, and I'll be honest, I'm signing him based on his attributes. £78 million release fee, so no worries with that. A yearly wage rise of 10%, which, fine. Like, if he's on 35k by the time his contract is up, that's okay with me. A 5-year deal. I can see him being a part of this side for a very long time, and hopefully we get some sensational performances from him. So far, a couple of goals, couple of assists, being the league and the Carabao Cup, and yeah, very, very excited to have him in the side. But why, Ben? Why have you missed the man from PSV Eindhoven, you're wondering? £7 million up front, £15 million overall, and that is because Usain Esmer, I think we're going to say, isn't here. Well, he is here. he just didn't get a work permit, and that has caused us a bit of a problem trying to loan him out until January. Well, we can reapply in December, but it's not happening. I need him to be capped by Turkey, ideally. It's quite a lot of money for a player that we don't necessarily know everything about, right? That could potentially be a problem for us. He's still signed on the work permit because he's 18, because he's young, because I could loan him out anyway. I think it's worth having him at the club, knowing that I want him for future seasons anyway, right? He's the kind of player I really like. If I had to compare us to anybody, left-sided, cutting in from the right, Riyad Mahrez strikes me as a bit of a Riyad Mahrez type. So if that's what we have, if that's the kind of guy that he is, then it's something, in my opinion, to be very, very excited about. And we're going to find out, aren't we? Not yet, though. Hopefully he does get this work permit. So far, it's a sticking point for us. You can see where I've saying. Free kick taking, passing technique, teamwork, work rate, flair as well. Tricky, dangerous. Someone that to bring off the bench later on down the line. Would I prefer him to have a work permit? Yes, I would. But regardless of that, again, I think a really, really good addition, and I'm excited to see how he does for us this season. He lights up my life, viewers. Did that work a little bit? Yeah, certainly. So how has that left us financially? Well, £73 million still in the balance. The Premier League is hilarious, of course. Transfer budget of 9.2 million. Still some money left to spend in the January period at this stage. And the beginning of our season so far has gone very, very well. As I touched upon, I say very, very well. It's gone well. We've drawn with drawn with Leicester. We've been beaten by Tottenham in a game that, I don't know. I feel like we should have done more in it. It just didn't quite happen for us. 4-1 victors, though, over Everton. Yes, they had a red card, but we were already leading by the point in which that man was sent off, and we were dominating the game as well. A really solid second half performance. 4 goals, Trout in the goals, of course, and then most recently the 3-0 win over Cardiff, where I played a very full strength side just to keep the momentum going, and the game was won at half time. We have then, next episode, we're going to cover these 2 games, Manchester United and West Ham, of course, our London and East London rival, as well as Manchester United. 2 big away games. And in terms of what the season expectation is, well, 900 to 1 to me is quite good based on where we've been before. In terms of the wages that we're spending compared to all the other sides, of course, 3 newly promoted sides, we're monsters now, viewers. Let me tell you, look at the state of that. We are at 21 million now, still 33 million. Lowest wage in the league. Lowest wage in the league. You'll never sing that. You'll never sing. Well, hopefully one day we won't be, but we will be for now. So that's the way it's going to go. Our structure in terms of wages is quite hilarious. We have this one man now on 70 grand a week that I gambled on buying a little bit. Harold, who is our older German player, is there next, and then everyone else is under 30k, and that was sort of the plan. I'd gamble. It's like being in the MLS. I've basically got like a star player, or I can't remember, the franchise player, or whatever they're called in the MLS. I can't remember now. But you know what I'm saying. Again, I think squad-wise, we've built something quite nice here, and that's what makes me quite excited. I think, again, we are heavily reliant on loans. Osmanovic has come back as well, someone I didn't mention, but I think I mentioned it last episode. I would love to get him back. So he and Trout return from last season amongst all these other loans. But what we've got now are these younger players maybe that are hopefully starting to come in. Like Malon doesn't start for me at the moment. The way the team is set then, we've got Nee in goal, who stays in goal and developed quite nicely last season, 24 years of age. I think he might even be on the brink of getting an England cap at some stage. Pizarro right back, Palacios left back, Rosso and Osmanovic in the centre. But regardless, we've still got some decent players in there. Like Simeon Packham remains. I was going to buy someone else, again, as like a third, fifth choice probably. Centre-back, I still think he's quite good. Magel can play there as well as playing left-back. And of course now, the experience of our new defender too. We've got Bong sitting in the centre. Now again, I'm so excited about Bong. I think he is the perfect player. He's my favourite type of DM, to be honest. Aggressive, quick, great at the tackle. I love that kind of player. Salatiel is going to be, I'm going to say that 50 different ways. I think it's really good. I think I got up spot on for the first time. Yeah, he's got a season or 2 to develop in him, but my word, when he develops, he's going to be fantastic. Juan Jose next to him, that as a combination to me is very, very exciting. Great on the ball, really good technical attributes. Both right-only footed, might be the only concern of the midfield duo. I have the box-to-box midfielder filling these spaces, helping out in the wider areas. I could play it as a Mazzala, by the way. I've done that in the past. I might change it up to that. Don't know quite yet. Agonovic. I'll get there eventually. When I was saying it mid-game, it's a lot easier. Out on the left-hand side, and then Trout, and we're going to call him Jakob for now. Forward to look. I think we've built a good team. I'm really happy with the additions that we've made. Some of the players have revolutionised this Thames side. I think expectations going into the season, I would love to creep into the top half and then like, as much as I think Europe is not impossible, like, and that might be crazy, it's not impossible, I think we're probably a season away from it. I think some of these 18-year-olds, by the time they're 19, 20, all of a sudden we've got a real team on our hands. And that at that point, with the players hopefully we can get in next season, our budgets for next season, 21 million is guaranteed. So I guess we'll see where it's about. That was similar to last year. I think if we could have a big window, even if we sell some of these guys on, right, for big money, say one of these guys goes for 70, 80 million, someone matches the release fee, PSG, if you're interested, let me know, then something can happen here at Thames, and it can happen quite quickly. I want to win the league as quick as possible, of course, and that's something and this is to bear in mind for those that are new. I never did it with Thames FC. I never did it with them. Of course, finishing above them will be a first target as well, and I never won the Champions League either. We're in July. There's plenty of time left for me to do it in August and September, and hopefully we do. I don't want to finish AFC Thames in the same way that we finished Thames FC. This is a redemption mission for me to beat the team that let me go, and that will be the goal. They've already won the Premier League. It'd be nice to win 2 before we end this. So there we are. The signings have been made. The money's been spent. The player you're most excited about, the player you think I've wasted money on, and why it's Esma. And I will see you soon with Love with Care. If it's Mitchell next time, do drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're following all the links down below, and I'll see you soon with Love with Care. Goodbye. £50 million. Remember when we were in the Vanarama National? I've barely mentioned it.